I'm Dave with the product development team with Lou's Fishing, and I want to talk about a very cool advancement we've made in our drivetrain, in our gear systems, in our reels. It's called the P2 Pinion. What it does basically, it provides an extremely stable drivetrain by stabilizing the pinion gear on both ends. And we'll take a look inside here. We've got a cutaway reel, and I want to show you some close-ups of how it actually works. We've got a very cool cutaway reel here that really shows precisely how this whole system works. When you turn the handle here, it transfers that energy into the main gear, which is inside the housing right here, to the pinion gear. And you can see the pinion gear turning and the spool turning when it's engaged. When you disengage the pinion, it shifts over, therefore it's not engaged with the main gear anymore, and you're in free spool mode. That way you can cast. And when you turn the handle again, the pinion gear shifts, spring-loaded mechanism here that pushes that pinion gear over, re-engages the spool so you can crank in the lure or the fish. Very simple system. Okay. The big advantage with the P2 Pinion is that it's supported actually in 3 different positions. Out here on the outside, next to the cast control cap, there's a bearing. Right here underneath this white collar, there's a yoke there that supports it in the middle. And when you have the spool engaged, there's actually another bearing right here. So it's supported on each end by bearings. What does that do? You've got a super stable system, and it's demonstrated when you turn this thing, it is totally stable. There's no rattle in there. If that pinion is not supported properly, it'll rattle around in there. The 2 main advantages you get with this system is gear stability. What does that mean? You have a much smoother gear train. So when you crank that reel, it's silky smooth. Also, you get extended gear life. Over time, since those gears mesh perfectly in there and don't wobble around, that will extend the life of the gear train over a much longer period of time. Another big advantage is it's harder to see because it's really inside the reel and it's in the pinion gear itself. As you notice here, we got 2 different pinion gears and there's a lot of difference in size. Well, the new P2 Pinion is this one right here. And if you'll notice, the collar on this gear out here is much more robust than this one is. This is a typical pinion right here. There's more material here, and when this thing engages the spool in normal fashion, you have a very solid connection here. As you can see, there's a lot of material here to support the strain, because a spool will get a tremendous amount of strain under load, whether it's a fish or throwing heavy lures and cranking heavy lures in. That's very important to increase the strength there. If you look at an older style pinion, there's less material engaging those 2 connection points to the spool. There's less mass there and more of a chance for failure. To sum it up, what you get is a reel that functions much more smoothly, the gear train lasts a lot longer, and you have a much stronger connection to the spool. The P2 Pinion is absolutely a great improvement at Lou's.